Hello, my name is Jimmy. I'm a child passenger safety technician, and this is the 2023 Toyota Grand Highlander. This is marketed as Toyota's best family vehicle. However, I want to let you know on a little secret, but I'm going to tell you that later on because there's actually a vehicle in Toyota's lineup that has more space inside than this. But let me tell you everything you need to know about this Grand Highlander, starting with the looks. While Toyota calls this the Grand Highlander, I think of it more as like a mega RAV4, because looking at the styling, it doesn't really look like the Highlander. It's more of a, much bigger version of the RAV4. You got LED headlights, LED fog lights. This is the top Platinum Hybrid Max trim. So there will be differences between this and other ones like the XLE. On the side here, we do get 20-inch wheels. Of course, being a large SUV, 20-inch does make sense. You do get some repeaters on the mirrors, and I love this. You get proximity door locks on the front, as well as the rear. Moving to the back here, of course, you got your high mount spoiler with the third brake light on top, LED taillights, and this is actually kind of cool. True exhaust tips on the bottom on both sides. Being the Grand Highlander, you actually get a decent amount of space. 21 cubic feet behind the third row. A lot better than the 16 behind the regular Highlander. What I do like is just the load floor height. Being a unibody vehicle, this is just a lot better than, for example, the Sequoia, which was a lot higher and a lot less spacious than this. And if you want more space, of course, you can fold that third row down, and that expands to 58 cubic feet, which is 10 more than the regular Highlander. And I mean, it's relatively easy to do so. It's not powered, which is, well, in my preference, a lot better, because you don't have to wait for a motor or anything like that. You just push the seats down and, well, 58 cubic feet of space. But let's check out that third row. So I guess I got to put those seats back up. All right, getting access to the third row, definitely not too difficult. There's a handle here. You pull that up, the seat slide forward, and, well, you're in. All right, the third row. I'm 5'11", and headroom is actually pretty good for me, and legroom, even if I slide the seat all the way back and have a decent tilt for the front occupant, I mean, my knees are just right behind. However, of course, this person can move that seat a little bit forward to give me more space. Honestly, it's not bad back here. For an adult, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be super happy with like a 12-hour road trip, but 6 hours? Probably okay. I mean, I have my cup holders on this side, a USB-C charge point, and I love this, vents on the top. If you never had a vehicle with vents on the top, you're missing out. Vents on the top is so much better than vents like down low that a lot of other vehicles are doing. Let me move up a row here. All right, the middle row. I mean, I'm 5'11", so I'm not super tall, but in here, I feel like tiny because there's a massive amount of headroom and legroom is plentiful as well. This being the top trim, there are some goodies in here that, well, you don't get on the base XLE. Of course, one is the captain seats that we have here rather than the bench, so 7 passenger capacity here. I also get this center console in the middle where I can put some devices, cup holders, which are much better than the cup holders that's on the doors. I even get a 1500 watt inverter here, so I can plug in laptop or even a microwave. Like, if you want to carry around a microwave, you can do so. The seats, well, they're decently supportive. There's like no lateral bolsters in here. It's not a vehicle designed to, carve canyons or anything like that. But they are comfortable. They're heated as well as cooled, which is definitely a nice touch. And of course, you get USB-C charge points as well to charge all your devices. And, well, you can't forget about the baby shades on the side. You gotta be comfortable in here. And, well, if you are carrying, like, family members in here, that's, well, a little bit younger in age and they're using child seats, I want to show you exactly how they fit in here. As said, I am a child passenger safety technician, and this on the driver's side here, this is a Kleckling infant seat. No problems getting the base in here. That was relatively easy. As for the infant carrier, slides in very well. While the doors don't open at 90 degrees, they're still big enough for you to slide that infant carrier in and out of the cabin with really no problems. On the passenger side here, this is a Klek 5th in rear facing. So my son, he's 3 years old right now, and he's able to climb in and out of this with absolutely no problems. The sills on the side are actually quite low, so he's able to use that basically like a step ladder and climb right into the seat. And because it does have a higher roofline, if he was asleep and me getting him out, it wasn't a problem at all. As for the third row, well, you can put child seats in there as well. I was able to put 2 rear-facing seats back to back. So a rear-facing in the third row and a rear-facing here in the second row, but I did have to move the front seat a little bit forward. Nowhere near enough that it's uncomfortable, but you do have to sacrifice a little bit of space. So if you have younger children, this still would work. As for forward-facing seats or boosters, they're probably best in the second row here as the headrests are removable. For the third row, only the middle seat is removable. So depending on child seat, it may not work with the headrest that's there. In terms of lower anchors, you got 3 sets, 1 on the driver's side, 1 on the passenger side, and 1 in the third row on the passenger side here. And upper anchors, you got driver, passenger, middle, and passenger in the third row. So you got 4 sets of those and 3 sets of lower anchors. So you should be okay with, well, carrying all your kiddos in here. But I gotta say, if you're really thinking of this as a family hauler, the 8-passenger variant will probably be better. And the 8-passenger variant, just because of the width of the vehicle, I'm pretty confident to say that you should be able to fit 3 car seats across, depending on the width of the seats themselves. But let's move up to the front. All right, the front seats. Headroom, legroom, both aren't a problem. There's plenty of space within the Grand Highlander here. The seats are pretty comfortable. I got heated seats and cooled seats with buttons right here on the dash. I don't have to dive into an infotainment screen, which is probably the best thing ever, let's be honest. The seats are, well, actually decently supportive, but they're definitely not a sports seat or anything like that. They don't have the largest bolsters on the side. And for the driver's side here, I do have a 2-way lumbar support, but no 4-way, so no up and down, unfortunately. In front of me, I do have the newer Toyota steering wheel, and it has all the buttons you would expect here to change everything from your cluster to the adaptive cruise and whatnot. I also have paddles back here to change the 6-speed automatic, which is actually kind of nice. And then behind that, a full digital cluster. It's actually very customizable. There's different themes, there's different gauges. I mean, you can change it, well, quite a lot. However, being a Toyota product, they want you to be safe. And because of that, well, you do have to pull over before you can go into the settings. You can't change it while you're driving. There's like different pages you can change to, but the settings fully locked out. You also get a color heads-up display on the top, and that shows you plenty there. And then the infotainment, the latest Toyota infotainment here. I mean, it's fine. It does what you need it. But let's be honest, you're going to be using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And both of those are wireless, which is absolutely great. You don't have to plug it in. You do get a Qi charger down here in the center, but the Qi charger isn't, well, grippy at all. And what I found is once you turn a corner, your phone just slides completely off of that area. But you still get USB-C charge points, so you can charge it, well, with the cable if you need to. I mean, this overall system, I don't really have any problems with it. It actually works pretty well, and I do appreciate the wider screen and all the physical buttons for my climate control. I do like this over, for example, the Lexus's layout. What's similar to the Lexus is, well, this shifter. I mean, it's first kind of found in the Prius. It is a little weird kind of how you shift this, and some people might not get used to this right away. But you know what? It's fine. It minimizes the space here so you can have your big cup holders on the side. And this giant area on the front, I can fit my full-size Yeti with no problems. And there's actually quite a bit of, well, storage space in here. It is quite family friendly. Like right in front of the passenger, I got this little cubby with a USB-C charge point. The pockets on the sides relatively large, and I have, well, a very large center console here under this sliding tray, which I actually kind of like. I mean, overall, this interior is, well, very spacious. It's actually a very nice, well, interior. Sure, the quality isn't Lexus-like. While you do get a stitched dash here, it's definitely not Lexus quality stitched dash. And of course, on the side here, yeah, it's not as good as, well, a Lexus door panel would be. You're definitely paying a Toyota price here. I mean, if you want to step up to a Lexus product, there's this in a Lexus product, the new TX. And that, well, basically is exactly the same as this with a Lexus badge and higher quality materials. So if you're interested in that, stay subscribed because I'm going to have that in the future. But let's talk a little bit about the powertrain before we get going. The base engine is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. You can also opt for a hybrid 2.5 liter that does help you with fuel consumption. Or there's this, the Top Hybrid Max. This combines a 2.4 turbo with a hybrid system. Combined, it makes 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Made it to that, it's a 6-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. And with those numbers, yep, the Grand Highlander is actually pretty quick. 0 to highway speeds in under 6 seconds. Yep, this is definitely no slouch. It's a lot quicker than it has any right to be. Being just like a comfortable 3-row SUV, you just don't expect it, but it has quite a bit of punch. That hybrid and turbo setup, it's absolutely just great. It really is. However, let's be honest, no one buys the Grand Highlander because it's, well, fast. Like it's just not the type of vehicle for that. So it begs the question why this powertrain is even available. I'm sure there's going to be people that want this powertrain, but I think the volume seller is either the base 2.4 turbo or 2.5 hybrid that's available on the lower trims. As this, it's only available on the top trim here. Honestly, I would pick the 2.4 turbo. I feel like that gives me enough of, well, power when you're passing, especially on the highway. However, if you're a city dweller, the 2.5 hybrid, it's going to be perfect for that. It does lack a little bit in terms of passing power on the highway, but you just can't beat that fuel efficiency. I mean, this is actually already pretty good at 10 liters for 100 kilometers, but the 2.5 hybrid, you're probably looking at like 7 or 8 liters for 100 kilometers. So decently better than this. And you still get all the room as this. So, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, really. In terms of the ride, there's no adaptive suspension or anything like that. It's not a F Sport model from Lexus. So it's very, very comfortable. The ride, it does kind of sway a little bit. It dives and it rolls and pitches and all that good stuff. But it's to be expected. It's a soft and comfortable Toyota product. It's not some, well, sports car. It's not at all. So, I mean, I have no problems with the way that it drives. Sure, it does lack kind of that driving feel I love, but I also feel that, well, being a 3-row SUV like this, do I really care about that? Would I really compromise that much of the practicality that's here so that I get a better driving experience? I mean, well, that depends really on the buyer. As it is right now, I think it's actually a really good vehicle. And the adaptive cruise and all that good stuff, being a Toyota product, it works phenomenally well. Adaptive cruise is great. The lane keep assist works great. The traffic jam assist, that also works really well. The one thing that doesn't work, well, it does work, but it's just super annoying is it has, well, a sensor right here that looks at my eyes to make sure that I'm paying attention to the road. But what happens is if there's, well, any sort of road crossing, I tend to actually like look left and look right just to make sure there's no cars coming. And then what it does, it bings at me and to tell me that, hey, I'm not looking forward, I'm not paying attention. It's not doing it now for whatever reason, but it bings at me so often that it's just annoying. I mean, overall, this Grand Highlander is exactly what the Highlander was supposed to be. A very spacious 3-row SUV. The Sequoia, it kind of missed the mark. The third row in the Sequoia is nowhere near as comfortable as this. Sure, it is a wider vehicle, but this definitely is more comfortable than that. And it's more practical as well. So this should be Toyota's best 3-row vehicle. But it's not. Because the Sienna, the van, the one that people just completely ignore, It has more room in the second row. It has more room in the third row. It has more room in the trunk. And with the Sienna, you can get all-wheel drive now. It's basically an SUV, kind of. I think there's that Woodland edition too that has, well, a little bit of a suspension lift if you want. So it's essentially a sliding door SUV. So if you really want a Toyota 3-row family vehicle, just get that. But if you're stuck on SUVs, you know what? You can't go wrong with this Grand Highlander. It is the best 3-row SUV that Toyota makes. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you next time in something that's maybe not as big, but still very maneuverable. I actually really like how this kind of turns in parking spots and whatnot. So it's actually very enjoyable. In any case, take care, and I'll see you later.